Good morning, positive energy all the time. Good to see you, Hawkeye. Elijah Farrakhan. Hope everybody had a great night, having a good morning. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is in the building. Represent your city. Salute to my brother Azane. Rap your city. Getting it going early today. Probably getting quite a few lives today. Me and PJ will probably go live a little later. My grandson. Birmingham, Alabama. That's like my ancestral spot. That's where my mother and father's from. My brother Andrew is in the building. Good to see you, Andrew. Yes, indeed. Syracuse, New York is in the building. Syracuse always got a dynamic basketball team. I'm telling you, man. Every time you watch the NCAA finals, they're always in the running. They're always a problem. Always. But I guess they can get a lot of good ball players out of New York City, so that makes sense. Some hoopers in New York City. Yeah. So we're pushing reparations. Nothing has changed. I slowed down a little bit because people had to pay attention. Richmond, Virginia is in the building. That's excellent. Drinking my soursop tea. Yeah, those were reparation books, yeah. Those are reparations books on reparations. The Congressman, Brian Babin, doesn't want to do federal reparations. He wants to let the state take care of it. That way, it won't really be a lot of money. And a lot of Americans don't want to take responsibility for slavery, don't want to take responsibility for the conditions they put Black Americans in, don't want to admit the levels of discrimination and Jim Crow. And they usually like to use our few success stories to pretend that success was available for all Black Americans to overlook the racism. It's crazy when you have people that's overlooking racism and still promoting racism at the same time and acting like it's not racism. And this just shows you what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people that go home and they know they're racist, and then they come in the public and pretend they're not racist. But when they get home, they really do not like Black people. And basically. I've never met a Black person that was obsessed with another race. A few radical so-called fake revolutionaries, but just a typical Black citizen. That's very rare to have a Black person that be thinking about other people. Most of our racial conversations be because we was victims of it. Police just has harassed you. You come home and you're a little upset, but we don't really just wake up on that. I don't know any black person that just looks at everybody racially, but it's a serious problem with whites. A lot of whites is obsessed with racial dislikings. It's unbelievable. Just obsessed with it. Anytime you run outside your house and confront a UPS driver, you got serious problems. Where the man can't even drive UPS and deliver his packages. The Karen want to run out there. What are you doing over? I've seen videos where they follow brothers around through neighborhoods. It's like, wow, crazy. When the reality is, I had a friend. He went on vacation, and two men came to his house dressed like movers. He was white, and they were white men, and so they were dressed like movers. And so the neighbors didn't pay no attention. They cleaned his house out, but they got away with it because they was white. You know what I mean? They got away with it because they was white, so wasn't nobody suspicious. So they came in with a moving truck, and they was dressed like movers, and they cleaned his house out. Now, if they would have been black, the police surely would have showed up, even if it was legitimate movers. They would have had to see the neighbors out there with them. But in this case, they didn't see no neighbors. The neighbors was out of town. They just let them people take all the stuff. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's one reason I like living in Chicago. I don't have to deal with so much racism. I'm in all black neighborhoods most of the time, and times I'm not. They're pretty much so many black people. They're kind of used to it. When you go to these places where they're not really used to black people, it's crazy. I'm really not uncomfortable. And when I went to Arizona, I was out there a month. I wasn't really I wasn't really trying to do no whole lot of hanging out. I'm trying to get back home alive. I ain't trying to get pulled over in Arizona on one of them roads by no racist cop. I ain't stupid. I know what's going on. So I wasn't trying to be up and down there. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to be outside of Arizona like that, dealing with that. No. Mm-mm. I already know what's up. I already know. You're going out there where they barely see. They might see some in Phoenix, but the other parts of Arizona, they barely see you. So here they go. I don't got time for that. But this congressman, he doesn't want any money from the federal government helping reparations. He believes reparations is totally ridiculous because what they do is they said that was a long time ago. Nobody was alive that doing that, da 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 da, and they're able to overlook Jim Crow. They they are able to have you behind and then keep you behind and just pretend like you weren't systematically put behind. And this is why they want to change the books. They want to make sure that their children don't get to read no books. So that way they can really make them believe the lie. If they start studying black history and start studying racism, then their people are changed. They don't want them to change. So they block the ability for Europeans in America to learn the truth of the history. And that way they could be kind of unaware of what's going on, and then they can feed them through the media false narratives about black people. That's basically what they do. This is why you see they don't want certain books in the school and stuff like that because they can't feed the false narrative if the people know the true history. So if you don't know the history and you're a young white male, and then they tell you, oh, they lazy and this and that, you'll believe it. You'll believe like, oh, black people are behind because they're lazy. But if you read and find out, no, black people should be way ahead. Wow, they did all this work. They invented all this stuff. And we made all the money off of it. Wow. Because they pocketed all that money, all them inventions they stole, and all that stuff had built up their economy. And now they can play like, what economy? Like, no, we work for this, play the nut role. And then Mother Nature comes through and is not so friendly. And they're like, whoa, man, my God, why me? Come on. You know why. I was saying, you know why Mother Nature's tearing up everything? Because you don't respect other people and you don't respect Mother Nature. Not really. You have no regards for nature. It's just a very selfish mentality. The world is mine. Do I want to? I can send a million satellites in the sky. It's mine. Okay, bro, you really believe you could put 7,000 satellites in the sky? Okay, all right. Okay. Good luck with that. Crazy people. So the fact that this senator is really hell bent on making sure we don't get any assistance from the federal government just shows you that he knows that the federal government and that big business got our money. They got our money they stole from us for centuries. Centuries stole us free labor and went in, set up the patent department and patented all our inventions, stole them, and banking all that money still today. All these inventions still have a patent on it. You know what I'm saying? All these inventions that we invented, they still own the patent. They're still making the money off of many things our ancestors built. So when they say one nation under God and they say stuff, that's because they don't include you. So you're not included, you know? They even, the religious, the way they teach the religion has been all shifted around. You remember the missionaries were like, we were heathens and they were just saved. Even the Bible, they had like the Negro Bible. It didn't have all the books in it. They took books out. They took books out the Bible just for you. Anything that was against abusing people or being a slave master and they took all that out about that. And they left in obey your master and stuff like that and took it out of context. So they left everything in there out of context. It's really crazy. It's unbelievable that you don't recognize you don't recognize what you got to pay for that. Like that's what's crazy. It's just crazy that you think you can do that and just you'll be fine, you know, and there'll be nothing happen. It's crazy. And so this man, he's pushing State don't get no help from the government. Next, they'll punish governments that do want to give us reparations. And say, well, if you give them reparations, we'll hold some of your government funding. So they want to use the government to punish people that don't go along with their dictatorship, basically. I mean, I mean, Claude Anderson really didn't warn us because we didn't really hear from Claude Anderson. So what happens, Ross, is, what's happened, rebuttal, was that when we watch these things on social media, we say they warned us, but we really don't understand how many people never heard of them. You know how many people, black people, don't know who Claude Anderson is, so he can't warn them because they don't know who he is. They don't know who he is. Only the ones that know who he is know who he is. But those that don't watch those type of videos and stuff, they have no idea who Claude Anderson is. He's really not popular at all. Nobody knows him. Yeah, nobody knows who he is. I get that all the time because a small group of people watch stuff on social media and then they say we should know but we are not all watching. Just a small group of us is watching these things. Nobody's watching it. If you really want to know what's going on with black people, just go around your family. They ain't talking about that, none of that. I've never been around black people in my family that mention any of these things that I haven't. Black people don't be talking about these things. Black people be like, I went over there and see Bernard. Yeah, but he doing all right. Him and Sarah's doing all right. And little Michael, he went on off to college. Larry didn't go though. Larry around there, but he working with his daddy, helping his daddy. You know. They said Betty Jean ain't been feeling that well, you know. And that's how they be talk like that for hours. That be black conversation. Nothing of any type of intellectual. It's just all what Uncle Joe is doing. His kidneys been bothering him though, but Mabel been trying to help him and stuff. Said he can't drive the truck too much no more. Yeah, he can't drive no much too more. They sent me pictures of Caroline and Robert. They went to their prom. They looked as cute as a button. You should have seen them. And that's all they be talking about. That's it. They don't know anything about eating right, nothing. They all on pills. They all sick. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed is not as popular as y'all think he is. He's popular to us. Tariq Nasheed is not as popular as y'all think. It's like 45 million African Americans. 45 million African Americans do not know no Tariq Nasheed. He's got a big following, but not compared to the population. He'll tell you that. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows who he is. Martell. Call some of your relatives. Ask them who he is. You already know. Don't nobody know. You just playing. You already know, Martell. When you get around black people, they ain't talking about nothing like that. You already stop. You already know. What city you live in, Martell? You know when you go outside, black people ain't talking about none of this stuff that we be seeing on this social media. Only a small group of our families even on social media. I can't name hardly nobody on my family that's on social media. They might got a little Facebook that they watch every now and then to see what the family doing, but they ain't on Instagram and TikTok and all that. Black people ain't on there like y'all think. Nobody know who Claude Anderson is. A lot of black Americans don't know who Marcus Garvey is. They don't know who Marcus Garvey is. They know who LeBron is, stuff like that, or they know some woman on Housewives of Atlanta, one of those TV shows. They know this reality TV show people. Nobody know who he is. We're a small niche. We're not a big niche like that. We don't even have the attention of half of the black population. You know, we don't even have the attention. If it's 45 million of us, we don't even have the attention of 20 million. We just don't. All the young people, they just know all the rappers. That's their age. I mean, Noble Drew Ali is like really small. Marcus Garvey's a little bit bigger. And Noble Drew Ali is basically like really a nobody. Absolutely nobody knows him. Even a lot of conscious people, we don't know nothing about what he been teaching or nothing. The Moors, they do a horrible. They don't do a good job. Moors be just trolling black people. Said we should call ourselves black. We need sovereignty, but they never teach none of the information. They just troll. I think they got to be the worst group as far as getting their message out there. They're horrible. The Moors, you ever seen a Moor ever teach you anything about Moorish science? They don't teach you nothing. They just troll you talking about we need sovereignty and we ain't black. That's all they ever say. They don't teach nothing. They don't teach nothing. I swear to God. I mean, no, they don't give you no information. All they always ever try to do is correct people, but they never teach you what they know. It's always it's always talking down to black people. We not from Africa, that kind of weirdo stuff. We've been over. It's always derogatory. It's always they never just don't teach you their knowledge. They always talk down. They use their knowledge to talk down on the community. And I don't really like that group. They're horrible. They don't bring nothing to the table. Like I could talk to Moors. I don't learn nothing. They don't tell me any of their knowledge. Everything they try to tell me is based on telling me I'm wrong or we're doing the wrong thing. But they never just, okay, bro, cool. What do y'all teach? Nobody knows. It's the weirdest thing. They're horrible. I don't know who their leadership is, but their leadership is not very good. And nobody care nothing about dude. Nobody, nobody, nobody talks about that kind of stuff, man. Same day. Why are you asking me things that you already know the answer? This gets a little tiring. Why are y'all out there in the world and ask me about things that you already know the answer? Nobody talks about Masons. So why are you asking me that? Like y'all in the chat, some of you brothers, y'all gotta step y'all game up. You be asking questions, you already know the answer. You already know in the black community, you don't hear none of that stuff. So I mean, what do you want me to say? Something you already know? What do you want me to say? You already know that already. The Masons, who are they? The only Mason we know is a jar. You know what I'm saying? We know Mason jars. We know that's it. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Y'all already know that. It's not even talked about on social media. So come on, what do you want me to say? They barely talk about reparations exactly. And we trying to push that hard, and that's weak. Because in the black community, the black man doesn't have leadership qualities anymore. So you can't build no military, you can't build nothing. He just has no leadership quality. None. He's just argumentative, if anything. You either don't want to hear nothing or want to argue about something. That's it. He don't want to hear nothing intelligent or he wants to argue. That's it. And pretty much you have to stay up to yourself. But we're going to keep pushing the line and pushing reparations. And there's a war on reparations right now, and they're going to fight hard to wipe it out under the Trump administration. And we've got so many black men that are thoroughly brainwashed and have been thoroughly converted over the years. It makes it harder. And we have black men that take pride in speaking against any type of pro-black movement or thought. They go out their way to try to figure out a way to speak against it. It's sad because it's gonna come back to hurt them. Some kind of way these brothers think that they're going to be identified in the world because they're talking against the stuff, but they're going to get treated just like the black people they talk against. You got to be kind of slow not to realize that. And so many black men that they can walk and talk like a Republican. They think everything's going to be good for them, but it's not. They're going to get treated. They're not going to get no special treatment because of that. They ain't going to get nothing from that. They don't know you still black, bro. You could put on a MAGA hat. You could do all that. You still black. You ain't never gonna get out of that. It's crazy. But it's good because I think this administration gonna be a big old wake up call for a lot of black men. Oof, they're gonna be crying in the streets. Like the Hispanics. When voted for him and he put them on planes and kicked them out. Like a sucker boy every minute. Now they cry. They talk about they want black people to unite with them. They're like, bro, we ain't messing with y'all. Come on, man. You on your own. How many times you Hispanic gonna play that game? That game is over, okay? We're not uniting with you. Good luck. Because you're a traitor. Everybody wants us to unite just for what they think they can get, and then they want to throw us to the curb. He says neither party has offered black people anything. Well, it's no such thing as a party offer you nothing. So that way of thinking, bro, Sean, is just a crazy way of thinking. That's just fake, bro. That's Parties don't offer anything, bro. There's never one party. There's always two party, and they're always battling between every election. So when we talk about a party doing something, that just shows you right there that black people don't understand politics. There's no party. There's never no party. The government is always Republican and Democrat. The government is never Democrat. The government is never Republican. The government is Republican and Democrat. There is no party. There's no party. It doesn't matter who you vote for. You could be black and vote for Democrats, and there's whites gonna still vote for Republican. So this idea that you vote for Democrats and now something gonna get done when the Democrats got to go back and negotiate with the Republicans. This just proves what I'm telling y'all. Like nobody's teaching our people politics. And he lying. How old are you, Sean? How old are you, Sean? I'm 67. How old are you, Sean? Let me see if I can let you be over here talking about history that might be before you was here. How old are you? You're 64? Well, why are you lying to these people when black people was doing real good in the 70s? Sean's lying to y'all. Black people from 1970 on through to the early 80s was doing real well and got a lot from the government. He's lying. He's lying, right? He's lying. He's lying. Bro Sean is lying. After the civil rights movement, black people came up. Black people lived the best in this country in the 70s. That's a fact. The best standard of living that black Americans had in this country was in the 70s. He's lying. How can they gentrify your neighborhood unless you had a neighborhood? That means you had something and then you lose it back. He's lying. He's lying. Okay? He's lying. No, they didn't. You're lying, bro. He's lying. Okay? There was hardly no single mothers in none of the neighborhoods where black people live. It was all couples. He's lying. Only in certain public housing you had certain single situations, but in every neighborhood with homes, there was a mother and a father when he was growing up. He is lying. He's straight up lying. Everybody grew up. I guarantee you he had a mother and a father. I suggest you shut up talking to me. Okay? Because you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You had a mother and a father. Why'd you lying to these people? Come back tomorrow. Okay? I ain't finna let you mislead these people. Let me delete this nonsense. That man lying. Everybody in his family in the 70s was married. Every uncle, he lying. In the 70s, family reunions was full of couples. Christmas full of couples. All the family functions was couples. Every uncle, you had uncles and aunties. You didn't have no bunch of just single aunties. What is he talking about? I can't name no uncles or aunts that were single. Now, my father's the youngest of 13. What is he talking about? What is he? Okay, what is he talking about? Like what? What is he talking about? He gonna tell me I should go back and research something. We was living through it. That's how you know some. Bro, you 64. We was here. I'm 67. What do you mean go back? I was here. I don't gotta go back. I don't gotta go back. What are you talking about, bro? You talking crazy. Just start reading this new stuff and try to and forget life and try to apply this new stuff you're reading. You didn't really start having a lot of single situations till like the late 80s and through the 90s. That's the 90s he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's the 90s. That's the 90s. The people that came up in the Great Migration, they all got married, okay? All of them. They all got married. The 70s was married people. Married, married, married. Marriage was huge. What is he? I don't know what he, you know what I'm saying? People talking crazy. There was no single mothers on the block or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And these are the type of people out there. There was no such thing as integration. Here we got another one. An integration that never existed. You can tell that these people, they watch these documentaries and then they be talking about on something, but it don't be from actual the living at the time. And so they look at this brainwashing. You know what I'm saying? And they look at the brainwashing, they get on social media and they tell the young people all wrong information. There was no what the hell is integration? You ever notice people talk about integration, but nobody can show you what integration is? Why ain't there no integrated neighborhoods in the 70s? Because to have integration, you would have integrated neighborhoods. A white person live here, a black person here, a white person here. Now, how could you have integration and white flight? White flight mean when you moved in, they moved out. That's not integration. If I come in the room and you leave, that's not integration. It's integration if you stay. Claude Anderson misteaches on that too. That's why I don't really listen to him a whole lot because he gives out a lot of misinformation. He a country boy. False information. Most of a lot of stuff he say does not apply to Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, or no other big black city. It doesn't apply. It's make believe. There was no integration in the city of Chicago. And Chicago is still a segregated city still today. So how Chicago's still segregated if we got integration? Anybody tell you Chicago's the most segregated city in the country. So what integration? Never existed. You can't count New York City because how could you call AMD? How could you call immigrant city integration? Some of this stuff is just, how could you call a city where people is getting off boats from all over the world? How can you call that integration? Like, what? How can a coastal city be immigration? It's just people just live there from all over the place. Like, what? That's not integration. You know what I'm saying? How is that integration? How is LA integration? Because Mexicans come from Mexico and live there, and blacks and whites. That's not integration. That's just people just live there. And this need to try to label everything makes it be an unrealistic definitions of the world we live in because they're trying to find a label for everything. And the labels don't be really accurate. Not really. Because even when you go to immigrant cities, they still segregated. The Puerto Ricans is over there, the blacks is over there. Like you go to LA, it's still the Mexicans over here, the blacks over there. They're not integrated. It's not like a Mexican house, black house, Mexican house, black house, Mexican house, black house. Like that would be integration. Like a Mexican family, a black family, a Mexican family. Like this is integration. This and this is not integration. Integration is, a black house, a white family, a black family, a white family. Show me anywhere. I challenge Carl Anderson. Show me anywhere in America where every other house is black and white. I want him to show me any block where blacks and whites live together on the block ever. It never existed. And so right now, this is why we're having a hard time with integration getting in the way of reparations because you have a bunch of brothers and sisters teaching false information about past history while we're trying to get reparations in the future. So the more we keep trying to push the future, you'll see people sabotage with old history. They keep going this way. See how this conversation, see how people came and we talking about reparations this way? Or you see how people came in the conversation and turned it that way? Make it recessive instead of progressive? None of them came with any reparations conversations. They come with straight distractions. What's going on, Imra? So you have a conversation, you start talking about reparations, people start asking you about everything other than what we're supposed to be trying to do. And that's what makes it so difficult. Have no input on reparations at all. None. And people being taught false information. I traveled all over all of my childhood. There was no integration in Birmingham. There was no integration in Uniontown, Alabama. There was no integration in Decatur, Alabama, Mobile, Alabama. There was no integration in Detroit. There was no integration in Chicago. There was no integration in LA. Everywhere I've been around this country, I ain't never seen integration before in my life. I'm still looking for it. Doesn't exist. It's a fake term. It's a fake term. I destroy Claude Anderson on. Claude Anderson said a lot of good history, don't get me wrong, but on integration, I'll destroy him. He don't be knowing what he's talking about when he talk about integration. He'd be off. He shouldn't talk about that. He should stick with the other important information he talk about. He shouldn't speak on that because he sounds crazy. He can't even show you integration right there where he lived at. Where he lived is still segregated. Where he grew up is still segregated. When he worked in Washington, D.C., it was still segregated. Was none integrated in Washington, D.C. when he worked for Jimmy Carter. The blacks was over there. And the blacks have always been over there. I don't know what people be talking about. It's always been the black part of town. Always. Always. I ain't never seen no integrated part of town. And so we got to get out here and get focused on the future and try to fight and try to get reparations. We don't need to be wasting a lot of time talking about Democrats or Republicans. As soon as I start talking about reparations, Somebody come over to about the Democrats, the Republicans. What do that got to do with reparations? Nothing. That has nothing to do with reparations. If you want to raise your children to get somewhere, you have to raise your children to get what they want from whoever. You can't raise your children where they want to be strong if a certain party get in there. Oh, Timmy, you got to wait till a certain party get in there to ask for what you want. That's a failed concept. So reparations ain't got nothing to do with Democrat or Republic. What that got to do with it? You was in slavery under Democrats and Republicans. So Democrats and Republicans got to pay. So I don't understand this thing like, oh, this party, that party, a bunch of nonsense. Both parties don't really respect you. So this whole thing where you want to be like the Democratic Party is so horrible. And what are we doing? Are we going to get what black people are going to get? Are we going to live in a fantasy world and talk fantasy and try to figure out which party is the best when the government is a two-party government? So young people, when you hear anybody talk about the government in terms of this party or that party, don't listen to them, because America is a two-party government, period. America is not Republican or Democrat. It's Republican and Democrat, period. So when somebody say, this party didn't do nothing for us, that party, it was never no party to do nothing for you. It's always two parties. So you're teaching our children that if you get a Democratic president, you got a Democratic government. No, you don't. You still got a two-party government. Stop teaching, making our children stupid. I can see back when blacks couldn't read and couldn't go to school, but it's 2025 now. It ain't no excuse for y'all to be that stupid. It's a two-party government. You can't be that stupid to think Barack Obama could get in there and do something in a two-party government. You can't be that stupid. You gotta know by now that either party could block the other party. Like, you don't know that yet? Like, what we doing? Come on, neither party never did nothing for us. You mean the government never did nothing for us? Not no party. That's a trick. As long as they can get you to blame this party or that party, you won't blame the government, which is both parties. Run the bag. I don't want the Democrats to give me reparations. I don't want the Republicans to give me reparations. I want the United States government to give me reparations. Both of them. Both of them. I don't give a goddamn who in office. Run my money. I'm not doing this for this one in office and then this one in office. Y'all black people, stop going for the okie doke. Them white men in Washington are not enemies. Them Democrats, Republicans, not enemies. That's a trick. They not enemies. The guy that's throwing the migrants out worked for Obama. He like Obama and Trump. He worked for both of them. He don't like Biden because Biden didn't do what Obama did. Obama was throwing them out. So now, if Obama was throwing them out, he was a Democratic president, and Biden get in there and let them in, is that the Democrats? It's not the Democrats, that's Biden. They're not the Democrats letting them in. That's Biden letting them in because the Democrats was throwing them out. They were saying Obama was putting them in cages and stuff. That's a Democrat. See, stop with the Democrat. Black people, when they can divide the parties in your mind, they can divide you and your thinking. We cannot be unified as long as you're thinking Democrat, Republican. It's a trick to keep your mind divided as a people. You think you're a Democrat and you think you're a Republican, when really you black. Because the Moors think they not black, but they black. They black in the government. They black to the people running this country. They black. They black to the police. They black to the judge. That's for you Moors. You are black. Now, I don't care what you think you calling yourself, but in the reality in America, when they see you, you are black. Period. And when your son get killed and you are Moor or unalive, they're going to say a black man was killed. A black boy was, they ain't going to say no more. I don't listen to the Moors. The Moors can't even take care of the Moors, what they can teach me. Their whole movement is dead in the water. Nobody who wants to be a Moor. Nobody wants to be a Moor, okay? They can't even grow their movement. So who's going to listen to you? Your movement, come on. They're nobody, all right? Go outside. Show me some bunch of people with fezzes on their head and stuff like that. Ain't none of them. They gone. Them and the nations of gods and earth. It's a skeleton cruise now. They're gone. Too busy talking stupid stuff instead of growing their movement. Too busy trying to talk to everybody else instead of taking care of business and growing their movement. The movement is dead in the water. You don't see them nowhere. Where they at? Non-existent. They don't even have no social media presence. FBA is bigger than the Moors and ADOS. It's bigger and popping. FBA is bigger than the Nation of Islam, the Moors, the Nation of Gods on Earth, the Black Hebrew Israelites, bigger than that. Facts. The reparations movement is the biggest thing going on right now. The other stuff's is dead in the water. The Nation of Islam had to have their stuff at the mosque. They couldn't afford to get a building no more to have Savior's Day. It was pitiful. They had tents and stuff outside. They just barely hanging on. They can't even find no new leadership. I don't know who's gonna run that. And they ain't standing on reparations, they ain't standing on nothing. They're just talking all kind of crazy stuff. Heck yeah, the NOI is dead in the water. And I'm in Chicago. They gone, bro. Nobody, Farrakhan ain't big like that no more. They ain't had another Malcolm. They had Malcolm. Then they had the next brother, right? Show me who replaced him. Show me, because you always had two big ones. You had Elijah and Malcolm. Then you had Farrakhan and Khalid. Now you got Farrakhan. Name somebody as big as Khalid. Don't exist. They don't have another Khalid or another Malcolm. They're dying. They ain't big like that no more. I don't be watching nothing but what I'm pushing, bro. I don't be watching stupid shit, Sage. Wesley, his name ain't buzzing nowhere. He's nobody. Nah, nah. I'm just telling you what it is. None of the movements was able to deliver, and young black people seen they failed. They failed their community, and nobody want to deal with them. We never see no results of the Million Man March. Where'd all the money go? It's a wrap. And you can run your little thing a couple times, but if you don't show and prove, you're done. Black people give you time to show and prove. You don't show and prove, you're done. The Nation of Islam never showed and proved or did anything for the black community. Nothing. Nothing. They're supposed to be the big Muslims on the block. Why when we go to the gas station, it's Arabs? They couldn't even control the gas stations. See what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I was there. I was there when it was popping. It was huge. They came to LA. They was huge. They was big. Like a lot of y'all don't know how big they used to be. Would you tell them, the Nation of Islam was big? Y'all have no idea how it's a skeleton now. And why? It's because nobody ever deals with black people. They always deal with a weirdo thing. The church, you know why the church is falling? The church is falling because they was divided. They didn't just be Christians. This one want to be Baptist. This one want to be Methodist. This one want to be that. And then that is you weak like that. It's strength in numbers. They disappeared too. The black church is crumbling. I'm telling you, all organizations are crumbling right in front of your face because they don't push unity. They push division, and division means weak numbers. You can't be strong and divided. I'm giving you young black people game. You can't be strong and divided. It don't work like that. You have to be united. And you have to be united for the benefit of your people. And if you don't figure out something that's going to benefit people that's your color where you live at, you're obsolete. And that's why FBA is the biggest thing on the block, because anybody could be FBA if you're FBA. You don't have to join nothing or nothing. It's lineage, not religion. See, you don't join your lineage. Yeah, you see, you don't join your lineage, you just die. So now you could be a Muslim, but you FBA. You could be a Moor, but you FBA. You could be nothing, but you FBA. So nothing's going to be bigger than your lineage. So we own something now. We doing lineage. You ain't talking lineage, you ain't talking nothing. See, whites deal with lineage. They white. And when everything comes behind white. Tell me I'm lying. Is a white man a Democrat first or white? He gonna always be white, then a Democrat. Is a white man a Republican first or white? He gonna always be white first, then whatever party. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. They'll tell you he's not lying. They'll tell you. They're white first. They put white first. White, they white. First. They're not no Republicans or no Democrats. They don't do that. That's for y'all. That's for suckers. They just do that for you suckers. To divide you. If they can make you think they divided, then you'll be divided. I'm giving y'all game. I pay for still giving y'all this game. YouTube and them be demonetized me like, they don't like this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like low key one of the most hated over here on social media. Low key. You think they really want me telling you this? I think I'm the number one revolutionary out here. To be honest with you. And they peep me. They like, he doing this slick. I'm doing this slick. I ain't talking no rah-rah. I'm giving you the facts. All that stuff, if y'all don't throw that stuff up, y'all gonna be starving. If y'all don't throw away all them bullshit beliefs, you're gonna be starving. You're gonna be a starving ass more. You ain't gonna have shit. You're gonna be a starving Muslim. That's what you're gonna be. That's what you're gonna be. You're gonna be a starving Rasta, starving Christian. Right here in Chicago, the churches is trying to figure out how they can get somebody to come back in there. Nobody want to come back in there. I don't know, bro. You ain't even got to say that. We already know that. Like, nobody's talking about tethers and all that, bro. Okay? There we go. See what I'm saying? See what I'm talking about? I'm talking about what we should do. Here we got same day. He on some division. And you see what I'm saying? It gets tiring. What does that have to do with, you know what I'm saying? Did y'all hear me mention anybody else? I'm saying we got to do what we got to do. Y'all don't hear me dissing on other black people. Like, you know what I'm saying? As soon as FBA focus too much on other people, it's going to be over with. If FBA focus too much on black immigrants, they're going to crash the movement. Same thing I keep telling y'all. What the fuck do tethers got to do with reparations? This type of, I be getting irritated easy. I'm talking about getting reparations from the government. And somebody talking about some other black people that ain't got our money. I don't know, bro. And like, I don't know, Mike, people like you, your mother's in them be house. The same thing you saying, your whole family like that. But you're going to go to the family function, you're going to smile in their face. People like you, Mike, y'all be phony. Because what you call other people on the internet, when I go around your family going to be just like the people you talking about. Your mama, your daddy, they're going to be the same, what you just call other brothers. But you're going to go home, you ain't going to call them that. You see, y'all like to call the other black people stuff. Then go smile with your mama. I've been watching this. I've been sick of brothers doing this for over 50 years. I've been watching brothers talk real hardcore about other people that behave the same way their relatives behave. And then when they get around their relatives, they be the same thing. Look at this fool. He say the leaders of FBA. FBA don't got no leaders, bro. There's no leaders. Tariq is not a leader. FBA is lineage. You can't have leaders of a lineage, bro. Look at this fool. He say the leaders of FBA. See what I'm saying? He think FBA is a group or organization. You know what I'm saying? Straight idiot. There's no leader. It's lineage, bro. It's lineage. Okay, listen, bro. We don't need the diaspora. What the hell we need with diaspora? Anyway, come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. I don't want to talk to no fools today, Mike. Okay? Maybe I'll have a little food tolerance tomorrow. But I ain't got no time for no fools, bro. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean burnt the bridge? There was never no bridge built. You know what I'm saying? What bridge did the diaspora build? Just talking. Time we burnt the bridge. What bridge? If it was a bridge, we would have climbed over the motherfucker. Ain't no bridge. What's bridge? What bridge? What bridge? The diaspora broke, starving, butt naked, broken, starving. How they gonna build a bridge? Ain't nothing going on in Jamaica. Ain't nothing going on in Africa. Ain't nothing going on in the Caribbean. They struggling. They need to focus on their situation too. They need to stop focusing on us. Jamaicans need to focus on Jamaica. All this diaspora stuff is trash. Diaspora is trash. When you got a military, each unit got to hold their unit down. You the hell with the other unit. You're not going to see the Navy worrying about the Air Force. The Navy is the Navy. The Air Force is the Air Force. The Army is the Army. The Marines is the Marines. Black Americans don't have to do Black Americans. The whole diaspora stuff is fraudulent and fake. We can do nothing with Black people from somewhere else. Nothing. The only thing we can do is with Black Americans. That's like an Ethiopian thinking he can work with a Nigerian. Ethiopians got to work with Ethiopians. They cannot work with no Nigerians. That's all make-believe shit, okay? You talking about we burnt a bridge with the diaspora and the diaspora broke, starving, and gangbanging, and they ain't got no money to build a goddamn bridge. What bridge the diaspora got? They starving. The diaspora don't even got roads in a lot of their countries. So how they gonna build a bridge? How I'm gonna burn a bridge with the diaspora? When they broke and the Chinese and the Europeans tell them what to do. What bridge? They bought and paid for. The diaspora's bought and paid for already. And there's 43 million Black Americans. We got just as many people as some of them countries. Besides Nigeria and maybe Ethiopia, we got just as many Black Americans as an African country. 40 million. 43 million is a country, bro. 43 million Black Americans. That's a whole country in Africa. Look it up. So don't talk to us like we know little. We 43 million strong. And our economy is bigger than Africa. Any country in Africa. Ain't no country in Africa got an economy. We the 7th richest nation in the world. Black Americans. You better ask somebody. The FBA is not a movement. That's how Fat Joe got in trouble. FBA is not an organization. FBA is a movement, but it's a movement of identifying your lineage. It's not no leaders. Tariq is not the leader of FBA. He just the one that came up with the concept. We don't have a leader. We don't have a leader. We just identifying as FBA in terms of getting reparations. That's it. Now, Stephen said we need to decolonize because he said we need to decolonize before we become a we. Typical nonsense. They use the word we, but they never talk about becoming a we. So Stephen ain't saying we need to, let's become a we. No, he's just talking like we already a we. So what you're talking about, Stephen, is false. You have no leadership qualities. You're just talking out the back of your butt. There is no we, bro. That's French. There's no we. Me and you ain't even a we. I don't even know you, okay? Okay, bro, listen, come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow, bro. Because I ain't really up for the foolishness today. Come back tomorrow. Go philosophize somewhere else. Maybe somebody will listen to that bullshit. I don't want to hear that shit you're talking about. Maybe you can find somebody to listen to your goofy ass. I don't want to hear that shit. How lineage gonna have a leader, Kurt? What are we doing? So if you French, can you have a French leader for being French? Do y'all know what lineage is? How you gonna? Unbelievable. Lord have mercy. All we trying to do is identify stuff. We ain't no organization. What part of that y'all understand? You cannot get reparations if you can't identify yourself. FBA is identifying ourselves so we can get our reparations. It's just that simple. And then there's organizations that go to get their reparations. But you can't get reparations unless you can identify that you was the ones that was mistreated. So make it make some sense. How you going to get reparations if you don't identify yourself? So we trying to identify ourselves. We don't want to be Black Americans because if you come from Africa and you become an American citizen, technically you're a Black American. But you're not supposed to get reparations. So we have to identify ourselves as we're the ones supposed to get reparations, not the Jamaicans, not the Africans. That's why we delineating so that we can go to the government and say, we are the ones. Like Native Americans are delineated. But when we want to delineate, Black man ain't got no education. You don't understand what's the difference. In the Native Americans, they're delineated. They're just Native American. They're Navajo or Sioux. And that's why they get their money from the government. And so that's what we're doing. We're not Black. We're FBA. We're the ones that was the slaves here before a nigga got here from Africa. Okay? Before you brought your ass from Jamaica, before you brought your ass from Africa, there was people already here in slavery. And that's what we're identifying ourselves as, the ones that was here. And we don't want to be linked in with the ones that's not here. How are we going to get our money if I say I'm you? But you know why we having these problems? Because these brothers ain't trying to get the money. That's why they don't understand FBA, because these is traitors and rats that ain't been standing on business to get our reparations. These ain't no soldiers. They telling on themselves. Because if you was trying to get the reparations for your people, for your ancestors, for your grandmama, for what your granddaddy went through, for what your great-granddaddy, you would already know what FBA is. But you let them rape your grandmama, you let them rob your great-great-granddaddy, and your punk ass letting them keep your ancestors' money, and you're a punk. If you let some people bring your ancestors over here and mistreat them, and you finally get to raise up and you don't revenge your ancestors, you are lame. That's like rising up in the Congo, and the Congolese ain't gonna want to get, they don't want nothing for what they doing to them now. So you're telling me 50, 100 years from now, them young Congolese ain't supposed to demand reparations? They ain't supposed to identify themselves as, we Congolese, we not Africans. We Congolese, and we want the money for what you did to us in the Congo. So they have to delineate and be Congolese. They can't be Africans and get money for what happened in the Congo. What are we doing? If y'all read my chat and you see what I see, it's just disgusting. I don't know if y'all knows when I be talking about a certain thing, you'll see somebody say something way in left field. It's just, I don't know if these is police or agents or what, or just stupid. Because like a lot of these people in my chat, they never be on subject what I be talking about. They always be like, oh yeah, and this, and I be wondering if they doing that on purpose or what. Like it's like agents over here, like distracting the audience. You know, I ain't said nothing to even lead to the comments I be saying. I'm like, what that comment got to do with what I'm saying? Like, what? Okay, what? What? I could swear I'm talking about lineage and building lineage. I don't even think I was talking about reparations and getting it. I was talking about what we have to do to get it, but I wasn't talking about nobody giving it to us, I don't think. State reparations. The reason he wants the government to block state reparations is because he knows that state reparations is going to fail. And he know that everybody going to demand national reparations. Because state reparations is going to set up a situation where some brothers and sisters going to be in the state and they ain't going to get reparations. And why should you get reparations for slavery in California when black people in the whole America was under that? So who the hell you supposed to be? So I don't really like state reparations because state reparations represent division. They mistreated black people all across this country. And black people all across this country should be in one movement to get treated right all across this country. Not you in one state and you just looking out for your stinking ass self. Right? And the hell with the people in Mississippi and Alabama and New Orleans. What about them? So that's not going to be a win because you get no reparations in California. That's not a win. They ain't going to fight for everybody else. They're going to be like, I got to get yours. Man, you got to get yours. So I don't really like state reparations. It's a selfish way to do it. I'm in Chicago. I want reparations. I want first reparations. I want to make sure the blacks that are still in the South get reparations. They still direct descendants of the people that really was getting beat. They still down there. My relatives in Alabama, Mississippi, they down there still in the slave country. So Chicago should get reparations before Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana, where the cotton was picked at, and the black people that's still there. California supposed to get reparations before them? How? That's going to backfire. Then you want state reparations. Then they go give you some little chump change and give you some little programs. And now they're going to be able to tell our children, now you got reparations already. And then you taking the weight off of the government because the America owes for reparations. In America, if you kidnap somebody in every state, that's kidnapped. In every state, if you kill somebody, it's murder. The federal government is responsible for everything that happens under their leadership. They're the top law enforcement in the country. That's why nobody won't catch a Fed case. You got a state case and you got a Fed case. So all slavery in this country is because the United States let it happen. And the United States of America owes for reparations because they allowed slavery on their soil. We don't live in California. We don't live in Illinois. We don't live in Mississippi. We live in the United States of America. There is no California currency. There is no Alabama currency. There is no Illinois. All that currency said the United States. And that currency was exchanged for slave labor and the products from slave labor. And the United States is the one that owe reparations. The state can't pay us how much they owe. That's the way to cheat you. That's less money. The big money is with the government. Make the government go to all the businesses that benefited, pay us. That's the United States government. It's not state of Illinois. United States government owned me slavery. My parents came from Alabama. They live in Illinois. What are you talking? My parents came from Alabama. So how Illinois responsible? All the blacks in the Great Migration, all our slavery happened before we came north. So how we going to get slavery money for the slavery labor and all that? That includes Jim Crow. All that was born in the South. All that was born in the South. Yeah, it was some sucker stuff. And a black man is a disgrace. Because the black man, you can't even stay on subject for reparations for your people. If you're a black man and you keep getting on these lives, and I don't see you stand up for reparations for your people, I'm blocking you. I want you out of here. I would never hang with no losers and no cowards that don't stand up for their people and let them do all our ancestors like that. Let them people run over you. That go for Nation of Islam and you Hebrews and all y'all. You let them people do our ancestors like that and you ain't standing on that 24/7. That's like somebody got your children. They abuse your great-great-great-grand. They abuse them. They got them under oppression so they can't ask for their money back. And finally, you the generation that ain't oppressed as much and you get loose and then you ask for your money. And then they said that was a long time ago, meaning you should have got it when you couldn't even get freedom. So that's why I asked white America. You said slavery was a long time ago. Tell me how the slaves was going to get their money. So how is it a long time ago when they was in slavery and we the first ones to be able to get their money? How are you going to say that was a long time ago when it wasn't a long time ago? Because my great-grandmother was born 7 years after slavery ended, and you cheated them, and you had us under oppression till 1970. So you're telling me now, 70, 80, 90, 2000, 30, 40 years later, we asked for the reparations. We just had an opportunity to ask for it. Now you're going to say, oh, that was a long time ago. You should have got it when we was beating you. We should have got it when we had you chained up. That's what they saying. If it was a long time ago, they saying the slaves should have got the reparations while they were slaves. And you're a black man, and you taking that disrespect, and you want to come over here talking crazy to me. When in real life outside, I'd have you court-martialed for that, for just even playing with me over a serious issue like that. Stop playing with me. This ain't no joke. Now, just because they could do your grandparents any kind of way and you don't care, don't mean all of us is no punks. They're going to pay us for what they did to our people, period. There ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. If you're a black man in America and you ain't standing on reparations, you ain't no soldier. You ain't no soldier, and you don't get no respect from me. I don't want to hear from you. And I unblock you and mute you and let you go talk to the fools. I don't even watch you. And if I met you in real life and you said, I don't believe we're supposed to get reparations, I'll walk away. I'll walk off and wouldn't advise you to follow. If you follow me, I'll take it as a sign of aggression. I will walk off. You wouldn't be worth talking to. If you date my daughter and you come over here and you say, we ain't supposed, I'll throw you out of my house and tell my daughter she better not date you. On my soul. You could never marry in my family if you a coward like that. You ain't stand up for your own family. All that abuse your family went through, and you think it's over, and you the first one that can avenge your family and you ain't gonna do it? Man, listen. Like Slim Thug. I never listen to Slim Thug no more. Talking stupid. Another stupid ass rapper. Another stupid rapper. Making black people look stupid, making the black man look like a chump. And they're going to take everything his ass got. He'll see. They're going to do him just like they did his grandparents and great-great-grandparents and great-great-great-great-grandma. They rolling over in their graves when they see you don't want to stand up for them. You don't want to stand up for your ancestors. I bet you Khalid would be standing up for reparations. I bet you Malcolm would be standing up for reparations. I bet you that. I bet you they would be demanding reparations. I bet you that. You wouldn't hear Khalid talking about that was no long time ago. You wouldn't hear Malcolm talking about that's no long time ago. Because if you know anything about the bloodline, that's your bloodline. That's still in your blood. That's still in your blood. You are the slave through your DNA. And we'll talk about that one day for you lames. You are the one that picked that cotton and got beat because you are your DNA. Your DNA follows you. That's a fact. We are them people. I am my great-great-great-great-grandfather. Who the hell you think I am? Who do y'all think y'all are? Y'all think y'all a different person? No, you are your DNA. You have went into the future. You're the one they mistreated. You are your great-great-great-great-grandfather. That's a fact. That's who you are. When you have sex with a woman and you put that sperm in there, you go into the future. And then you raise yourself and you teach yourself. That's how that go. You raise yourself and you teach yourself. My great-great-grandmother, my mother's grandmother, I used to be at our house. She was born 7 years after slavery, which means I was at the house of a lady whose parents were slaves. I was at the house of a daughter of slaves. She didn't pass away till 1993. She lived 117 years old. I used to be at her house every summer. My great-grandmother was the daughter of slaves, which means my mother is the granddaughter of slaves, and my daddy is the grandson of slaves. How close you needed to be. So you telling me that I was down there with my grandmom and them, and then if she was born 7 years after slavery, what you think life was like even after slavery? What you think life was like for my mama and my daddy in Alabama? And they born in the 30s. And Rosa Parks and all that wasn't until the 60s, 30 years later. So what you really think it was like? Even me, when we went down south, we couldn't drive straight through. We had to get to a hotel before it gets sundown because it's sundown time. We could have died out there just going to visit our relatives. And they got y'all thinking it was a long, long time ago. When I keep telling everybody, you didn't get free until I was 12 years old. I was born 1958. Your ass was not free with the Emancipation Proclamation because they didn't even tell everybody it was free. She lived 117 years. I used to be at our house. If you look at slavery, slavery ended in 1889. 18 like 69 or something like that. Like just 7 years before she was born. 1869, something like that. She was born 7 years after slavery. And then Jim Crow. Jim Crow was still in when I was a baby. You didn't get free till 1970. And somebody gonna come over here talking about black people's messed up. No, black people's all right in 1970 when they got free. But then the next generation didn't know, and they took their foot off the gas, and they trying to put your ass back in slavery. That's what's going on. Because the brothers took their foot off the gas. They wasn't standing on nothing. And stand on reparations. Don't let if these people run over us for reparations, your sons and grandsons is done. You're done. If you're a black man and you ain't standing up strong for reparations, your sons, grandsons, they done. They gonna run over them. Black man, stand up and stop fighting another black man and fight something real powerful that's out here. Why you don't never go at the real powers that be? Whatever. On the phone now.